All right, welcome everyone. It is May the 10th, 2024, and we are still studying the universal law of instantaneous transmission and transformation with Sanat Kumara, and he is explaining so much to us. Oh my goodness. Very exciting information. There he is right there. Isn't he beautiful? One time in a reading, I asked him about his hair, how his hair was, and he said it was fine. He said there's lots of electricity in the air. But yeah, doesn't he have beautiful hair? Yeah. Okay, so there we are. Instantaneous transmission and transformation, ninth dimension, blessing and virtue of truth, Lurion, clavicle, chakra, and those are the colors. Purple right in the middle. So that's us remembering our I am. This is our mission of peace with Michael. And I'm beginning to understand how important self-worth and self-love are. So that's what the discussion tonight is going to be a lot about. Okay. These are the lists from the universal law of change. So see how I put I am above it? We are here to embody the laws. And so to say I am the universal law of change is important, that we are all the laws. So remembering, and Lillian brought this up a while ago, to use the words I am, not to say I'm, but to use the words I am, and you can put them in front of anything. To me, they are the two most powerful words to use. Brings us right into the heart center in perfect alignment. Purple is that, about being in that perfect balance of the mother energy and the father energy, and therefore in love with yourself, self-love and self-worth. Okay, so this law, I am the universal law of instantaneous transmission and transformation. We're working on I am the recognition of my interdimensional self. So if we're losing our ability to think backwards about what we were doing, even an hour before, not to worry about it, because we are becoming multi-dimensional. So we're not just hanging out in the third dimension anymore. So we're in and out of different dimensions. Hence, it's hard to remember what's the linear timeline here. I am the activation of my ascension flag. So we want to see all those flags in the spinal column around the chakra up, to see them as being up. That means our frequency is increasing. The flags are almost a symbolism of our frequency. So we want I'm going to go into vibration and frequency a little bit tonight. And then I am the activation of perfect health. I am the activation of balance in all realms, mental and emotional, spiritual, physical. So those are 4 really cool points to remember about the universal law of instantaneous transmission and transformation that SK gave us. And then, of course, they all relate to this one from attachment and detachment, perfect relationship, financial abundance, perfect health, a happy family, fully embodying my mission and purpose, change. There's relationship, financial, security, adventure, meaningful work, and the law of unification, unity, connected to the 7th dimension, the heart chakra, lustrous health, lustrous relationship, lustrous planet. And the reason he uses lustrous is because right in behind the heart chakra is that golden lustrous temple. And remember what Archangel Raphael said, there being no difference between healing, the green energy of love, and creation, the golden energy. So I think that's why he used lustrous there. SK did. And SK is very golden energy. Okay, now one of the things that Raj SK said, he does not wish to be our guru, and neither does Sananda or Saint Germain or any of the beings on the other side. He says, we are our own gurus. You are your own guru. And in this, you have the capacity to instantaneously transform air into whatever you wish. So now, why do you think he said air? Air is made up of moisture, the mother energy, and light. So when you're in that perfect balance, you can create anything. And I say that lots in the reading room. And then connected to this was me quoting something from Linda's book. The keys to heaven are trust and forgiveness. The doorway is love. Open the doorway with your keys and step into your new life. And I think I'm hoping the next slide is, oh, okay. Well, there's I am. I am my own guru. That's a good thing to say. Because it's connected to our self-worth and our self-love. I have the capacity to instantaneously transform air into whatever I wish. So it's good to be saying these statements with I am. And maybe it should have been I am the capacity here rather than I have. I am the capacity to instantaneously transform air into whatever I wish. So that's reminding us love is the fuel. So I'm beginning to see that the fuel is our self-worth. Because if you've got that fuel of self-worth and you're in the movement of self-love, then you can create the substance, whatever it is that you wish. So that's Michael's little love is the fuel, love is the substance, love is the movement. That is so profound, that statement, or those statements. Okay, now I'm hoping, oh, nope, I don't have it. Okay, anyways, we'll go into that later. I asked the internet, what is frequency? And this amazing post came up. And it talked about, I guess this is Steve, would you think this is Stephen Hawkins? Steve or Darren?
David Hawkins.
Oh, David.
Yeah.
Steve.
Not Stephen Hawking.
Oh, who's David Hawkins?
Well, he's the fellow who developed the scale of enlightened people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And have you read up on it a little bit, or?
Well, I've got the book, but I haven't had time to read it.
Okay, so it's kind of interesting because look at what shame and guilt and apathy and grief and fear and desire and anger and pride. They're way down on the scale.
Right.
And enlightenment is 700 plus. Courage is at 200. I guess neutrality is sort of like just,
equanimity. Yeah.
yeah, that's 250.
Balance.
And willingness 310, acceptance 400, reason, love 500. I mean, maybe they haven't got the terms quite right, you know, but at least they're showing quite a bit a higher number. So hence the importance to stay up in this area. To help us. So the higher the hertz is for within ourselves, the faster it happens on the planet. And it's a really kind of interesting what he says. So how can I test my vibrational frequency? Sit in a quiet place and meditate on your dominant emotions. Make a mental note of the emotions that occur and how strongly you feel them. The one you feel most strongly about is your dominant emotion. Then look at the chart to find its frequency, and you will know whether you are vibrating high or low. Yeah, Darren.
I just looked up the frequency of love and it's 528.
Okay, well, all right. Well, it's okay. So 500 range.
That's close enough.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how they're testing it and who's in the love, because if you're, there's many frequencies probably of love, actually. So anyways. Okay, so now what he says here is really interesting. While it is easy to know your feelings at any given time, when you go inwards and begin assessing yourself, ego comes into play. That's just why people don't like to meditate. The ego bias towards self will not let you accurately assess yourself. It will make you defend your negative thought patterns and feelings by telling you that it was some external circumstance or person who caused it. It is quite a challenging process and requires you to be totally honest with yourself about yourself, to be objective about yourself, neither thinking highly nor poorly of the self, but plainly, simply, truthfully. This is called shadow work. So, and I've always said, if we can get out of the blame game the the person who caused it or the external circumstance, if you can get to blessing that, forgiving everything, being compassionate, not judging, and blessing everything, then that's a pretty enlightened state of being. Yeah, Darren.
Yeah, that really explains why it's so difficult to get out of the lower frequencies into the higher ones.
Okay, so SK said it's not supposed to be difficult. We just make it difficult. When we're loving the ego, like that's what he told us to do. It's a delightful part of our personality. And then you're extending that love into all circumstances and being in the state of forgiveness and not judging and gratitude. It changes everything because you're seeing everything from the higher perspective, like an angel would, like you as an angel would. You're not in your human old system, you're in your angelic system where you are basically seeing it from the higher perspective. So but it's nice that he put it to words here, that that's what the ego is doing. But keep telling yourself that it's not that difficult. Just remember your wing and know that in your wings is everything you need. Your soul design, this law that we're working on, the soul design is literally at the top of your solar plexus, in your spinal column, around all your chakras, but also in the field in your universal self. Yes, Darren.
That brings up a small problem. You gotta remember to do that. You gotta have a memory.
Well, this is why I say I am. Use the I ams. And this morning, when I was doing this, okay, so this is the list that SK gave me when I asked about personal financial abundance and to hold myself at a high frequency for the collective. I memorized this and it took me into such an amazing zone. I highly recommend memorizing it and repeating it over and over. Steve, I finally got into, I think, what you're talking about, and it lasted a really long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you've already sent this to us, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It's
Good enough. Thank you.
Yep. So up here where he said, he said I need to be in my self-worth. So I put I am to it. I am self-worth. And this is where I started realizing this is the fuel. Our worth is the fuel. Love is the fuel. That's our worth. And knowing that the flags are up. Flags up, frequency increases. That's why he's got us lifting up flags to remind us to lift up our frequency of self-worth. Okay, and then I am receptivity. I am the ability to give and receive. So again, in that balance, I am the willingness to move forward. So this is connected to receptivity because that's the listening, being able to hear, and then the willingness to move forward. Because you got to say yes when they say jump, how high to move forward, because I am bringing forth currency. Okay, so this is connected to love, flows of love in a physical realm. So this is us creating the substance, physical. I am establishing and recognizing. So there's the father, there's the mother, my own self-love, my own currency of love. See, and love is green here. So establishing, that's the foundation of worth, recognizing, peace or whatever, the blue energy of the mother, recognizing my own currency of love. I am my own deservingness. I am my own worth to experience, to be able to create and play. So all the golden energy is the father, all the blue is the mother, in perfect balance. And then combine the two, it creates love. And love is the fuel, the worth. Love is the substance. That's the personal financial abundance. You're creating it yourself. And love is the movement. So that's that really deep love for self. So self-love, self-worth creates manifestations. That's the platform to create something in the physical. All right, and then I said times 8 billion, holding it. Oh, here we go. Here's the keys to heaven. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back to this. Where did I have that? Right here. Okay, so he said you are your own guru. We can instantaneously transform air into whatever you wish. Time to get going. And then I quoted this. The doorway is love. Open the doorway, step into your new life. The keys to heaven are trust and forgiveness. So here it is. The keys to heaven are trust and forgiveness. The keys, I think it's connected to, again, a key being our worth too. Because when you're in your own worth, you can trust and you can forgive. Because often forgiveness is really difficult. But if you're feeling really worthy, then it's much easier to forgive. And the doorway, I think this is the framework of the laws. The doorway is love. So again, it goes back to what Archangel Raphael said too. There's no difference between healing and creation. So there's the love, there's the, this is the healing, the doorway is creation. The doorway, the creation is love. There we go, the creation is love. The keys to heaven are trust and forgiveness. The creation is love. So in our self-worth, in trust and forgiveness, creation, love, open the doorway with your keys and step into your new life. So step into your self-love. Really remember it. Because it's right there. And that's the movement to be able to take the steps as well. And the worth, knowing your worth, knowing the love for yourself, and it's all so interconnected. Does that make sense? Is it too complicated, or yeah, Steve?
I find it interesting, listening to you and reading this, that if I hadn't experienced higher dimensional love, then I'd read this and it wouldn't make sense to me. It'd be like, well, how does it do? And how, and what is self-love? And blah, blah, blah. I have all these questions. But the minute you experience higher dimensional love, all becomes clear. It's like, yes, that I'm experiencing right now would make the world work. It takes away all my worries. Like it flows, right? Moves right through you, takes all your worries, hopes, concerns. It's such a radically different space that all of this, it explains all of this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yes, this would do it. This love that I'm experiencing right now would do it. It would prove to be the key. Well, it is. It is heaven. Never mind the keys to.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
yeah. But I think what they're trying to do is break it down so we get the tangible wording so we know what it is. Because you can experience it and not be able to put it all makes sense. But
I've never been able to find any words to describe the nature or essence of love. The only thing I've ever been able to say is its impact on me. Oh, it makes me feel.
So yeah, so I think what they're doing here is they're breaking it down for us so we know, you can actually take these physical steps and get there.
Probably, yes, undoubtedly.
Yeah, because I've experienced that, but then to be able to actually say, well, this is what I did to get there. It's kind of like a blueprint. This statement is sort of like a blueprint to get there. Yeah. Okay. Derek.
Yeah, I agree. It is a blueprint, because when I have been able to get myself into a higher vibration, so I do have the trust and forgiveness, then the doorway does open to love. So I do experience that love then, and the creation as well.
Yeah.
I think it definitely is a formula.
Yeah, it is yeah, it's a formula, yeah. And it's just the wording is different for us, but I think she's trying to really bring in the framework of the laws in the doorway as well, so that we remember we can follow the laws and reach this higher dimensional love. We can follow the blessings and virtues and reach it. And they're just trying to remind us, raise your frequency into self-worth, like really know your worth and know that you are so loved. And yeah, everything begins to work better. You can create whatever you want as long as it's connected to your purpose, your heart's desire, basically. It's in your soul design for what we came to do to accomplish in this ascension. Step into your new life. Yoo-hoo! Okay. So yeah, so I'm starting to see that the fuel, because I didn't really understand what the fuel was. I believe it's our self-worth. So love is the fuel. That's our worth. Love is the substance. That's, us being able to create what we want, and with the movement being the flow, let's get in the flow of all of this, and anything's possible. And then of course, with this I am, it really pops you up into it very quickly. Okay. So here we are. This is the Lurion clavicle chakra, and just know like the middle is this purple I am. So it's just use it as much as possible. It makes a huge difference. Okay, so this dimension is all about completion. We're reaching a whole new level. The quality is truth. It is a bridge to a higher level of unspoken communication. And I fully believe that we're moving into telepathy, and it's a different way. It's not a lot of mind chatter at all. It's very quiet in the mind, but all kinds of understandings still happen, but it's not English. So truth is a big part of that. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so now we're on to somebody that called in on the radio show for this law. And hi, Raj and everything. I'm looking at understanding universal self and the soul design that you referred to as that design of, and what relation is that to our universal self? And Raj says, it is the depiction and the design of your universal self. So when you are looking at and working with your design, you are working with your universal self. They are not different. So there's no difference between your universal self and your soul design. And so that's great to know. And then she says, we are learning to play in and out of form, and that opens up a whole new world of reality. And Raj says, you are now particularly, think of it as a course that lasts a lifetime, and you are learning at this moment, particularly you, sweet angel, about being in form. Now, all of you have been tremendous, and you don't give yourself adequate recognition. You have all been very good at at being out of form. And even while you still have the form, you drift in and out of your body continually, consciously and unconsciously. That is one of the reasons we often say part of creation is the daydreaming. It is the dreaming, it is allowing the inspiration and the dream to anchor back into the physical form. So there's nothing wrong with daydreaming, but it's bringing yourself back into your form, anchoring into your form, because we're still in this third dimensional reality. We can't really be floating around up here too much. I had a shaman look at me once, and she said, you are so out of your body. And then she did this thing where she got me back into my body, but I think the reason was because I still hadn't gotten under some of the trauma. And so the more we come out from the wounded child, really can face into whatever has happened this life, other lifetimes, we easily anchor into the physical form. But we don't want to be in it when it just feels so painful. And then he goes on, you are out of body at night as you travel with myself, so with Raj, with Archangel Gabriel, with Archangel Michael, with Yophael. You are out of your body a great deal. And most of you have been very happy and comfortable out of body because the density of the old third was so heavy on your shoulders that you couldn't wait to slip away. Now with the new dimensions, that weight is gone. What we are asking you to do, what we are doing with you is, now you are experiencing the joy, the sweetness, the pleasure, the fun, the ecstasy of actually being in form. Not that you are trapped, but think of it as the scales. Now the scales are, particularly with me, are always in balance, but for right now, they're slightly more in favor of learning to be in form while you are doing all of this. Do you understand what I say? So he's saying they want us to be informed. They don't want us jumping out all the time. But as I said, I think it's connected to us not dealing with being afraid of the wounding. Yes, Darren. You're on mute.
We would still go out of our body at night though, right?
Always. When you're sleeping, you're out with your guides. You're out with the master. You're out with the mighty ones. Yes. There are so many projects to work on. Absolutely. Okay, and then the caller goes on to say, thinking also of the importance of anchoring in Gaia as we are playing with our forms. And Raj says it is absolutely necessary to drop your anchor, your cord, to be connected firmly and completely with Gaia, because she will hold you in love and nurturing and in safety and security so that you are in form even as you're drifting across the multiverse. So when we're like sleeping at night and we're out, with our circle, we're still anchored to the planet. So that anchoring, that grounding to Gaia is super important. Yes, Darren.
So just anchoring to Gaia will keep you informed then?
Yeah, but you can, when you're sleeping and you're out of your form, you're not nothing, you're still connected.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so now it's funny because we've done this law before, and I had this quote from Saint Germain here, because he did this amazing channeling about love back in 2014. And the title was, "But what is love really?" And his definition of love, it is the experience, the knowing, the connection, the connectedness, the union with the one, with source, with all. It is you, yes, in physical form, in your heart consciousness, but also in all of your bodies, having the experience of being connected to God. Okay, so we know that we have this silver cord that goes to source, and we have the red cord that goes to Gaia. But here he says, but, and look it up here, but what is love really? So you've got the blue energy and you've got the yellow, the mother and the father. And he says, but also in all of your bodies. So not just the gold and the green, also the blue, which is all these bodies around us. So the mother energy is in the bodies around us, which is really interesting because I never really thought of it that way before. So yes, we are connected to God, but we're also in all of our bodies. So that's the universal self, the causal body, which is all the past lifetimes, the mental body, the emotional body. So all those bodies around us. So cool. Really nice. I'm so glad that I put that in there. I was patting myself on the back. Because I didn't understand that this here was connected to this, to the mother. And this really is the connection to the father. Yes, Darren.
So then love is besides being connected to source, it's also being connected to all our bodies as well. That's part of love.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, love is everything, but
Right. Yeah.
but it's nice to have this. I love it when they explain it and we can understand it, because back in 2014, I had no idea what he was really talking about. And it was only when I got it this morning, actually. I think he was with me and he was like, but you got to look at this again, but also in all of your bodies. And it's like all of these bodies. Yeah, the ones around us. So it's the connection. It's the connection on the silver cord to source to Gaia, but it's all the bodies around us as well. Mhm.
Well, very interesting. He separates that out. You know,
Because that's the difference between the mother and the father. Father energy is connection. It's knowing. It's consciousness. It's physical form. And the mother is the experience. And so what is the experience? But the past, but the mental, but the emotional. So it's both.
okay. Well,
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yep.
see that now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, so now this is really interesting. So this fellow calls in, and I know that he, in past laws, he mentioned that he was struggling with addiction. So this fellow has been praying and praying and praying for healing and talking to SK, many of the laws he called in. So he said, I had something special happen last Tuesday night. I spend a lot of time outside looking at the stars, and I've never had anything like this happen before. I had a vision while I was looking at the stars. And while I was looking, I kind of felt like a point of consciousness. I guess you would say I slipped away from looking at the stars, and I've been thinking just what it would be like. I read a lot of channelings, and I thought the veil feels really thin right now between our dimension and the higher dimensions. I do healings, and I feel connected all the time with the higher dimensional beings, but I've never had a feeling like this before. I was looking out, and all of a sudden I felt like, instead of watching the stars, I felt like I was floating forward, and I started seeing off to either side sparkles of white light. Like when you're looking at the water, you see the sparkles, and they started forming globes of sparkling lights all around me. As I was looking at those sparkles, I realized that each of them represented an angelic being. And what I was feeling from them was just completely elation and joy for me. And it was directed towards me, all of humanity. And as I kept floating forward, I realized that they were ecstatic because the vision that I was having was telling me that we're there. It's not on the verge, we're already there. So this information came through over 10 years ago. After a couple of minutes, I slowly swerved back out of the vision, and I was back watching the stars, and I tried to remember right away, okay, what did I just see? I have to write this down so I don't forget it. What did I just see, and what was I feeling? So even though I just had it, it was kind of hard to remember exactly that same elation and feeling while I was involved in the vision. So I came back inside and I wrote it down and I showed my wife, and then I went back to the computer to read some more channelings. And the one I read was Fran Zepeda's one from Master Lando and the glowing orbs of light. And I was, oh my God, this is just what I saw. This feels kind of like a confirmation. Then about half an hour later, I went back with my wife, who was watching some Japanese animation that she got from her family in Guatemala. And she was watching this animation of a young boy, and all of a sudden he's surrounded by these orbs of light and stars and stuff. And I was thinking, what are the odds that all three of these happened within an hour? The main thing about the visual is the joy in which all these sparkling lights, all these angels had about humanity. So I thought I would share that today and just see what Raj thought about that. And if he could add anything to it, or let me know if there's other significance he can comment about it. And Raj is really excited that he called in and talked about this, because he says, thank you, dear heart. And what you have done and what you have experienced was the elimination of the veil. It is not thin, it is non-existent, and it is only the belief system of humanity, that it is still there. So what you flipped into, as you have said, was in fact the truth of what is, and that you are surrounded by beings of light. And particularly, you've been praying for healing, and you were surrounded by the healers of Trelana. Those are those bright, sparkling lights, those orbs that come to you as well. And they can come to you at any time. But it was triple confirmation so that you would know this is not your imagination. Uh-oh, I'm going to lose my battery. Not plugged in. This is not your imagination. This is your answered prayer. And for you to also know, yes, the joy and the love that is felt on this side for you and for all of you. And that we are inviting you, we are begging you to participate constantly in that sense of overwhelming love and joy. Because that is the truth of your natural state. And so it was confirmed and confirmed and confirmed and confirmed again. And now you have confirmed it to all who are listening and who will listen. So for this, I thank you. So funny, I almost ran out of power there. That's us connecting in. Yes, Darren.
Yeah, thanks for putting that in, because I had that experience a couple of years ago.
Okay. With the healers of Trelana.
Yeah, I didn't know it was them, but I knew there's a lot of joy and love there.
And were they bright, sparkling lights, those orbs?
Yeah, bright and sparkling for sure.
Perfect. Okay, so I know that I've sent out information about the Halion engineers and the healers of Toronto. Do you want me to send it out again so you can read about it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yep. That's exactly what it is. And it's like when you look at the ocean and you see the sparkling light, like it's so, I mean, it's so beautiful to see it right on the ocean.
Yeah, if you would send that out to everybody, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Will do. And so the same guy says, I just want to say thank you to all those angels out there, because it was the most real, fulfilling experience. And what's really strange about it is I keep trying to recreate that feeling, and I haven't been successful so far about recreating that feeling I had while I was in that vision. That's the only vision I've ever had in my life, and I want to get back into that feeling, but I couldn't. Is there a way to get back into that? And Raj says, yes. What you need to do is relax. You can't force it. Go back outside. This is your milieu. Go back outside, relax, allow, gaze at your star friends, and then allow the veil to slip away. That is how you will recreate it, and I will help you. And the caller says, thank you. I know you will. So yeah, best thing to do is just relax. Because when we're trying to get somewhere or do this work, it doesn't really work. It's relaxing and surrendering into it. That things start to happen, like the feelings, because we want to get into the feelings. And then this is interesting too. So Fern calls in and she says, I feel 10 feet high when I listen to you, Sanakamara. You empower me and us so much. Thank you. And he says, you are welcome, dear heart. And Fern says, you talk about going into our hearts. Can you help me understand how to bring my heart to this still point you are talking about, please? Yes. Think of it as if you are bringing, as if the energy from your head and your entire being, both from the bottom up and the top down, is going down a drain. So all that energy is draining and collecting in your heart. So it's draining down into your heart and it's draining up into your heart. That is the first step. Then allow your breath, and you might practice this, allow your breath to slow. So you count 4 in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Ken.
I am having a real problem staying awake during these sessions. And I was wondering if you had any ideas about how I could make sure that I stay concentrated.
Oh, yeah, because when we're sleepy, are you yawning? You find yourself yawning?
Not tonight. Usually I do.
Okay, so what it's doing is it's driving up old, deep, old sorrow. Yawning is usually connected to sorrow, really old
Okay.
sadness. So if you feel like yawning, that's the best thing. Just keep yawning. Doesn't, that's a good thing to release it. But you could ask yourself, why do I feel so exhausted? And ask the exhaustion what it's connected to. And it'll either go into something in this lifetime. Can you see it right now?
Well, let me think here. I think it's control, that I'm trying to maintain control or something, or something along those lines, though, that I get so tired because I'm trying to control stuff.
Yep, that makes sense. Was there a lot of control when you were growing up?
Not with, well, I don't know how to say this exactly, except that I felt like I was never in control.
Somebody else was.
Yeah, my parents.
Okay, so can you bless them for teaching you all about control?
Oh. Okay, I did.
Beautiful. Now it might be easier to stay awake. So anytime you're like really getting tired around something, you can just ask it what is connected to you. And then go in and bless whatever you find out about. Because
Okay.
yeah, gratitude is a way through. Golden, the energy is a way through the old systems, which is gratitude.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yes, Darren.
Well, in addition to letting go of what it's connected to, I find that doing deep breathing also helps, with tiredness. After doing that for a while, I'm no longer tired.
Thank you. That's a good reminder. Thank you.
And if you feel like you want to yawn when you're doing the deep breathing, that's a good thing because you're just releasing the sorrow.
That's right. Go and do it.
Yeah, but it's also good to get the awareness because once you know what it is, then it disappears. Awareness sets you free. So keep asking lots of questions. Yep. Okay, so this is a way to go into still point. Now, when you do get into this stillness in your heart, anything that's not of love dissolves. So the more we practice going into the stillness, it's very, very helpful for the release of the old systems. So he's just saying, count 4 in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, hold for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then do it for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and out for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you keep doing that. You can get up to 16. If you've got really good breath control, you can do 32. And then you simply say, I wish to go to stillness. And he says, if your heart and your heartbeat was a pendulum, simply stop the pendulum. The same way you would reset a clock, an old-fashioned clock. Stop it and just be. And he says not to worry about breathing. We will not let you suffocate. Your body is constructed to start breathing when you need to. So just be in that place of stillness. It feels like the immense void of nothingness. In truth, beloved, it is where everything is. So simply practice. Do not let fear, or I can't do this, or I don't know how to do this, interfere. In fact, turn down that flag and turn up the flag of still point. Just see that flag up in your spinal column, all the flags up. That's your increased frequency, and in there you can, nothing is impossible. Yes, Aaron.
Yeah, that's a real paradox. Huh? You know, in the void where there's nothingness, that's where everything is.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, the stillness where there's there's no more questions left. But in physical form, if you've got questions about the old belief systems, keep asking until you have no more questions, because that's a way through it. Awareness sets you free. Instead of just keeping the whole same thing happening, like it's good that you spoke up, Ken, and asked the question. And then there's always a way through. And the exhaustion is an old system. I was talking to my mom about hopelessness, because I've struggled with this hopelessness thing. And I thought it was just me, but it turns out she has it, her mother had it, her mother had it, her mother had it. It's something that's come down through the family line. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, let's clear it out right now for the whole line. And hence, I don't think I would have got to that point with her if we hadn't been using the mat, and it had softened her up to a certain point so that I could ask that question. So that's what I'm finding with the mat. Like it massages the body so that you can ask the deeper questions. So just know, us studying these laws, it's doing the same thing as what I do with the mat. It's massaging the body so we can get in. We're getting curious. We're not furious. We're not exhausted. We're just getting curious and going in deeper and deeper for the awareness to set us free. So we get to the truth and the soul, like we're tangible soul design that we're here to emanate. Okay, so there's this about sitting quietly, meditating on the dominant emotion. So it's like, for instance, with Ken, if it's exhaustion, by not defending it, so we're not going, we're not blaming it on some external circumstance or person who caused it, but we're aware, okay, created at that point when I was in that family relationship. So neutralizing how you feel about the family and about yourself, just being, not thinking too highly or too, oh, here, this is the old wording of this one. I changed it. Neither think highly about self or low. I changed it to poorly, but be plain, simple, truthful. So plainly, simply, truthfully about the self. So you're just neutralizing the energy around the past so that it cannot create havoc in right now. If we neutralize how we feel about the past, how we think about the past, you're seeing it from the higher perspective of blessing it. It can't create issues for us right now. All right, so yeah, oh, this is peace.com. They're saying silence is eloquence. Luxuriate in the perfection of silence, quiet the mind and let silence speak for a change. Chances are you will like what you hear. But this is interesting because they're talking about the mind. They're not talking about the heart. And where did SK say? To drop into the heart. Because in the heart is the nothingness. not in the mind. It's very difficult to access the nothingness from the mind, but you can access it from the heart. And you can also access it from the root chakra. There's, you know, there's a pinprick of light in the heart chakra, and you go into the golden temple. You can go into the void of nothingness in there. But you can also drop right down to the root chakra and fly through the pinprick in the root chakra out into the void. And then you really go into the nothingness if you want a deeper experience of it. Okay, but most of this doing the heart work isn't as well known as meditation in the mind. Most groups out there are doing the meditations from the mind. And the key from my understanding is dropping into the heart consciousness. It makes a world of difference. Okay, so this is the last slide. And the mother's blessings and virtues are as important as the universal laws. And that self-love connected to flow. Love is the movement. Love is the fuel connected to self-worth. And that's how we create the substance. Understanding our self-worth in equality with our self-love. And studying the blessings and virtues and the universal laws really helps. It's like a step-by-step ascension manual into the feelings and creation work that we're doing. Okay, and this is a picture of the Divine Mother that was taken with the man. He took a video at that place in
Yugoslavia, I think.
yes, Magorji. Lilian.
Nigeria.
Yeah, Lillian's been there. So he took a picture when it was all happening, or a video. And he got home and he realized he had a whole video of the mother. So I took a screenshot out of the video. Yeah, so she's watching over us, and SK as keeper of universal laws, watching over us, and the mighty ones. We are surrounded with help to remember our self-worth and our self-love. And from there, you can create whatever substance you need, want, desire. So it's just deeper and deeper into the self-worth and the self-love. And you can call the self-love peace if you want, because it really is that. It is the mother blue peace, Archangel Michael, blue peace. And it was Ashira that said the more it's like a very still flat line, it's very peaceful. It's the choppiness is the old systems. The choppiness is this. The anger, the fear, the grief, the apathy, the guilt, the shame, the sorrow, all that it's more it's more of a choppy energy. And then the peace is very smooth from the way that I've experienced it. All right, so yeah, Darren.
So would that flat line be similar to still point?
In a way, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, because in the stillness, I found it to be very peaceful in the stillness. But everyone's so different, so it's best just to go in and practice. Practice. Okay, so are we ready to do some sending? Send out some energy for 10 minutes. Steve, do you need to go? It's 8 o'clock.
I probably should.
Okay.
I keep making arrangements for just after 8.
Yeah.
You guys Monday.
Okay.
Okay, have a good weekend.
Too.
All righty. So what shall we send out? Does anybody want us to send energy to anyone in particular?
Wait a minute, we had the supermarket people, right?
Oh, yeah. Let's send to that family. That's good. Let's send them self-worth and self-love to create the substance.
Okay,
So how do we multiply it out to?
All the
Everybody
other,
would,
yes, all the other families that are struggling.
yeah,
Yes.
Well, we just say it. Let's multiply it to all the families that are struggling with food insecurity right now on planet.
Yeah, and send to Christy as well. Huh?
Christy, yes, struggling with the breast cancer, right?
okay.
Okay, so what we're sending is the remembrance of their self-love and self-worth. So they can create. They can create perfect health. They can create perfect, a way to financial abundance, so they can buy their food or some, whatever it is, it's in their pathway. Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
And the self-worth is connected to the fuel, which is like the father energy, the sunlight, and the love movement is connected to the water. So we're sending them the energy of nature as well. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm gonna set the timer and we'll see everyone in 10 minutes. There we go. That's the 10 minutes. It goes by so fast. Mhm. Did you fall asleep, Ken?
No,
Wow.
no. I was pretty much concentrated. I did have a few lapses in there, but I was able to bring myself back into helping that family and then realizing that it went out to all the other families too.
Fantastic. Okay, so if you catch yourself feeling some kind of emotion that you're not comfortable with, just keep
Mhm.
asking it what it's connected to, and then bless it. Bless the
Okay,
whole situation around it, because you're neutralizing the energy.
got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problemo. That's the way through it. Golden gratitude. Connected to Archangel Gabriel.
Golden gratitude. Great.
Yeah, magical. Magical. If you have a shower, you can imagine gold coming out of your shower. It helps with everything. When you're drinking
Well, it
water,
does.
yeah, when you're drinking water, you can turn the water into golden elixir and drink that, or juice, or whatever you're drinking. Turn it into gold
Okay.
and flood your body with it. That'll help with all your like physical ailments. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
But what it is gratitude for the past. That's what it is.
Gratitude for the what?
For the past.
Oh, okay.
For all,
Gotcha.
yep, all your experiences, good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah, you could also change that shower into orbs if you like, orbs of light.
Well, that's a good idea too. Sure.
It's very magical here. If you don't mind the orb seeing you naked.
I don't think I'm that yeah, I'm not that
Modest.
modest.
He's not that modest.
Mel will tell you that I am not modest.
And I don't think the orbs care at all either.
No, they don't.
I was saying it to make you laugh so you would remember. Because now when you're in the shower, you're like, oh yeah, right. And the orbs can see me naked. Come on down. But
Come on down.
come on down. Like
That's from
the price is right. Come on
Yep.
down.
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta have some fun here.
Should have lots of fun.
Yeah, it's not all hard work. Not anymore. We're through that. There is no veil. There's been no veil for 10 years. Just
Well,
take a while. We're a little bit dense.
Yeah, that's right. We got to change our minds. That's all.
We just need to avail ourselves of the good stuff.
Yeah, the gold, the golden elixir, the golden laws, the golden.
You missed my pun.
Say it
Availed
again.
ourselves.
Avail, yes, of the good stuff. That's right. Make the veil of the good stuff. Yes. Yeah, actually there is, the mother has a golden veil. So she's blue energy, but she is everything. So she actually does have a golden veil. And I think it's a metaphor for us being in the gratitude for everything.
Okay, cool.
Well, I didn't know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Gold is really powerful. SK's golden energy of balance is extraordinary. Yeah, like if you call him in, you can feel it. Yes. All right. Any questions? Any comments? I think we're going to keep going with this law. I want to, or this chakra, I just want to do one more so you kind of get the point, like the major points of it, because we learned so much. Hard to remember back about truth. We just did a whole thing on truth
Mhm.
and the dimension. So I'm just gonna do one more where it's just points. And then we'll get on to the next one, which is the throat. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
okay, you are welcome. I will do the recording right now. Uh-oh, where did it go? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, so many buttons down here. All right, thank you everybody for coming. We'll see you again soon.